And you better start before there's this connection, I'm thinking. Are you allowed to yell in your Florida complex?
Read all about it. Read all about it. Read all about it.
Because the Lord is on the wall behind you. Greg is in a white room with, are those fake flowers?
Of course.
Doesn't matter.
Florida.
And next to it, directly above the head of the bed, as if it was, you're about to shoot a sequel to The Exorcist, is a crucifix right on the wall.
Well, you know, you don't need birth control when that's above the bed.
He's watching and dying for you.
He's not only that. Oh no, not only that. Let's get a quick look around, because not only is the cross on the thing, here's what's on the wall next to the bed. How about this uplifting, lighthearted oil painting?
No, that's not true.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
All right. Okay. This is so weird for a all right. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Hey, should we try to put this show out on Saturday?
Have we explained that I'm at my mom's place?
All right. Did your mom put that up, or did it come with the place?
No. This has been on the wall of our house since I was a small child.
Wait,
prominently featured.
Wait, what's going on there? It's hard to see.
I think it's Jesus. It's Jesus Christ.
It's a floating poster.
No. It's an oil painting.
Oil painting, but it looks like, for the listeners, the size of a poster, framed, giant cross. And is he like dead on the crucifix?
Yeah, it's Jesus dead on the cross, but it's a hyper real human body. And then look, totally, he's looking slumping down upon what looks like Hades. It looks like hell. There's like a dark river underneath him with sinners in it. And,
no wonder your mom is so like cynical and funny. She's walking around her house and that's on the wall.
Yeah.
Also, you very rarely see a dead Jesus on the cross.
Right. Yeah, that guy's toast.
He's bleeding, and he's still giving you that I'm suffering look, in his eye for you.
Do you see what you did? Did you see what you've done to me?
All right. We're going to talk about Christmas in a second, but before we do, let's the origin of it. So that's the craziest thing to me is, remember Abu Ghraib? I remember that's when it occurred to me, and everyone's like, oh, there's a guy standing on a crate with his sheet, and this is the war prisoners. And they're like, oh my God, you can see the car battery like a couple of feet away and the wires going up, like, oh my God, this is the worst torture scene ever. I'm like, really? Have you gone to church?
Yeah. Right.
This is nothing.
Yeah.
1,000 out of 1,000 people would choose the car battery on a crate with a sheet over you than what kids are seeing on stained glass windows and on walls.
But this is after he was stabbed multiple times on the cross. First he was.
It's a sadistic religion.
Yeah, and the best part is on Friday, on Good Friday. Every year, good Catholics went to church on Good Friday, and you reenacted the killing of Jesus Christ. You were given these. There was like these little pamphlets given out with the lines, and here was the characters: Jesus Christ, Pontius Pilate, and Barabbas. And Barabbas was another criminal who was also being put on a cross while Jesus was. And
he was kind of the wacky neighbor. Is this like a sitcom?
He's overweight, but he's got a hot wife.
Read?
Yeah, he's super hot, but his wife is 20 years younger, and so you would call out. Pontius Pilate would say, "What should we do with this false prophet Jesus Christ?" And then, as a 9-year-old kid in church on often my birthday, which is April 5th, so Good Friday would often land on April 5th, I would have to yell out, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" along with my entire congregation.
It's insanity.
And
it's
then
full-blown insanity.
He was forced to march while being ridiculed and spit upon and punched until he was on his knees. And then he was put on the cross where he was stabbed repeatedly by the soldiers.
Yeah.
Thorn of crown. Oh, I forgot the thorn of crowns.
Oh, you can't forget that.
No.
That's kind of like the feathers on the tar and feather.
Yeah.
That's just a little icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and Mike.
You might have to explain the worst internet connection ever that you're experiencing.
All right, so
I
am in Florida in my mom's place, and she doesn't have Wi-Fi in 2021.
What? Like, even if her front door said, "Stay away, don't come here," like that wouldn't be as effective as no Wi-Fi.
She has no Wi-Fi, and so we sit down and watch some TV. We sit down and watch some TV last night. She turns it on, and it's like you're watching. It's like they had shot the TV show in the dark. It was completely dark. The screen, you could barely make out any figures. And I go, Mom, your TV's so dark. I go, let me fix it. No, do not touch that remote. Sometimes when you do, the TV just turns off. I was like, Mom, I can fix it. I know I can fix it. And she wouldn't tell me where the remote was because you have the remote for the Wi-Fi for the cable, and then you have the remote for the actual TV where you would do the settings for the light. And so I get it, and I hit like 3 buttons, and the screen lights up, and it's fucking beautiful. And she's like, she acts like you are a genius, like you are fucking Leonardo da Vinci. And she's like, "Oh my God, how did you do that?"
Yeah.
She's been watching dark TV for years down here.
Mom, that TV is so dark. Not as dark as the oil painting in the guest room where you're staying. That's a lot darker. I'm used to really dark things. Have you seen all the torture scenes sprinkled throughout the lovely home?
And the flowers are dead. They're fake.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you're on a hotspot because, by the way, it is I don't know another word, but a wacky video feed because sometimes what's happening is you're like, and then we go to the TV. I swear to God, it's been like that a couple of times.
Oh, really? Oh, because I'm using my hotspot on my phone.
And I don't know how it works. Yeah, so it goes, then the TV, and then it lit up, and then everything was fine. Like, and all of a sudden, like, you catch up to your audio.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Well, look, we're going to keep it short today because it is Christmas, and we're actually recording this on the 22nd because our fine team over at Midcoast Media has decided to indulge themselves and just take off on Christmas Eve and Christmas.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're doing it just for the fact that I've been hearing this Elton John, Bernie Taupin Christmas. I just let me know when you want me to fucking tear apart Bernie Taupin. It's the worst Christmas song ever.
Hit me with some of the lyrics.
On paper, Elton John made it very listenable. We'll talk about that later. All right, we'll do it right now. Why not start? Because who knows how long people are going to listen to this with your audio. Okay, it's called Step Into Christmas. So, all right, Greg, if you said, hey, Mike, you're not even a songwriter. Can you write a song for our podcast? Okay. And I'd be like, it'll probably suck, but I'll take a shot. And my first line was, welcome to my podcast song. You'd be like, stop. Like, you should have just said, fuck you. Like, if you didn't want to do this,
right,
you should have just said, fuck you.
Right.
So Elton gets this piece of paper, and the first line is, welcome to my Christmas song. So it's like, it's a little literal, Bernie. I mean, you know how great Christmas songs are? Like, they seem incredibly inspired. Like they really are like some of the, you know, great sounds and so inspirational.
Well, because really, let's be honest, Christmas songs are a cash grab for artists. They make a ton of money. It gets instant listenership, and artists never. But then you look at the Beatles, like John Lennon put out a bunch of Christmas songs. Paul McCartney put out a bunch of Christmas songs. You fucking do it because your manager's telling you to do it.
I think Lennon's beats McCartney's. I hate McCartney's Christmas song. Anyway, welcome to my Christmas song. I'd like to thank you for the year. So I'm sending you this Christmas card to say it's nice to have you here. If my third grade child brought this home, I wouldn't even put it up on the refrigerator.
That's not refrigerator worthy, kid. Sorry.
I'd like to sing, I mean, it's the most literal. I'd like to sing about all the things your eyes and mind can see. Ready? So hop aboard the turntable. Oh, step into Christmas with me. Bernie Taupin is a fucking child. Literally, he's a child. And poor Elton John saddled with this.
Yeah.
Step into Christmas. Let's join together. We can watch the snow fall. Ready? Forever and ever. Like, it's terrible. Step into Christmas. The admission's free. Like, if you know what the hard thing would be? If you told me to write a Christmas song for the podcast, sure, challenging. Like, what am I going to write? But if you said, write the worst thing ever, I couldn't do it because this is in my hand.
Yeah.
I could not do that. That's impossible.
Your hand would stop. When you were writing forever and ever, you would say, no, he's going to say that that's not even bad enough to be bad.
I would be like, I'm kind of telling him I don't want to be friends anymore. Like, that's what this is. I might as well write. That's what I should write. Greg, you asked me to write a Christmas song. Here's the piece of paper. And I fax it to you. It comes out of the fax machine. It says, we're no longer friends. Those are all the lyrics. That's what I came up with, which is the same as this.
We're no longer friends forever and ever.
Yeah, I'm into it, but I'm telling you, you're not going to be. Forever and ever. Exactly. Oh, my God. And by the way, incredibly listenable song. Da-na-na-na-na-na. Like, he has different parts. He fucking threw so much lipstick on this pig.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So think about that next time.
No, the John Lennon one is pretty amazing. War is over. Yeah. But Paul McCartney's is interesting. I can't remember how it goes again.
No, Paul McCartney's is terrible. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Nah, nah. That's like, Paul McCartney literally in his sleep, if he rolled over and his hand fell on a keyboard, it would be more impressive than simply ding dong ding dong ding dong ding dong. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's what Paul McCartney does. If he's like, does this piano work? Is it even close to being in tune?
Yeah, I think that even though Paul may have written songs that were as great as Lennon's greatest, Lennon never wrote crap.
We don't know that at all. Well, I mean, the famous one was when he brought in. Well, listen, we're going to get to the Beatles in a second.
All right.
A list of their songs, put all of their songs put in order of greatness. I just want to see how many of the top 10 you get.
Wait, all right. I can't wait to do that. But I just want to get back to Florida for a second. So
yes, please.
So we land. Everything goes really smooth. We land, and I had rented a car for the week, and my mother's like, "Oh, don't rent a car. I'll drive down. I'll pick you up at the airport. We only need one car." And I'm like, "No, I'm telling you, I got this deal. It was only $328 for the week, so fuck it. Why don't I'll get the car? It's not cheap, but no big deal." So we go to the budget rent a car, and I go, "Okay, so we got the car." She's like, "Okay, and you have that until the 24th, which is 2 days later." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Your car rental, it's due back on the 24th. I'm like, no, we have it for a week. It's until the 28th.
And she like, you also know your mom has no Wi-Fi. You don't have a car till Christmas, and you have no Wi-Fi.
So I go, well, how much will it be if I keep it to the 28th? She goes, $1,258.
Yeah, you know why? It's a fresh booking right now, starting Christmas Day.
So now, well, even if you extrapolate the 2 days times whatever, like it was $328 for 2 days. And so
I got it.
Right. So that's why I thought it was such a good deal, because I'd accidentally only booked it for 2 days. So I rented it for the day. I'm going to return it later on tonight. And then we get to, and then we're like, all right, we got to get tested because, my mom had her heart surgery. So we can't show up to the house, covered in COVID. And
I'm getting tested again today. Exactly.
Especially with the new Abercrombie and Fitch strain. And
that one, yep.
So we go to, and four of us, well, I'm driving. So three of us are searching for testing places in Florida for COVID-19. Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
There are first of all, you can't get the instant test. It doesn't exist in Florida right now. You can only get the one that takes 3 days. And even to get that, they're all booked. Like they're all booked. And then the walk-in ones don't take health insurance. And they charge you $200 a pop to get the test. So DeSantis is going out of his way to kill as many human beings as possible with COVID-19. And so
to find the testing sites, you have to just look for the big banners that say "pussies here."
Yeah, right. And
that's it.
And so it's just got a big picture of sheep, and
yep.
And so we finally just go to Boca Raton on the way, and we pull into, and we're just driving around looking for places, and we find a place, and we pull in. We wait 2.5 hours in a waiting room. Here's the thing about people from Florida. They don't go and get tested as just, protocol. They go get tested when they are on death's door. Everybody in the waiting room is coughing and sneezing. And my wife is filling. We let my wife go in and fill it out. We all waited in the car.
And she's surprised you didn't take off. She comes out. Wait, hello?
Well, we figured you get tested.
COVID back in the car.
If any of us have it, you probably have it. So it's kind of like a parakeet in the, what do they call it? When you said a canary in a coal mine. You're the canary in a coal mine. And so
parakeet.
So everybody's coughing and everybody's saying yes to all the symptoms, and it was fucking crazy. So we got tested, and then we, of course, show up to my house, and I tell my mother, all right, Mom, you just had major heart surgery 2 months ago. You're still weak. I said, when we pull up, we're going to have masks on. She was very upset we got the tests. She's like, how do you feel? Do you feel sick? And we're like, no, we don't feel sick. Well, then we're just gonna pretend that there's no COVID. I go, no, Mom, we're not gonna pretend. I go, first of all, if you caught COVID from us, my sister would fucking kill me. And so I go, we're getting the test, and when we come there, you're gonna have to wear a mask, and we're gonna wear a mask until you get the results. Show up to the house, she's got no mask, and
of course not. She has crucifixes. That's all she needs. Look at them all. I put extra ones up during this so-called virus. Yeah.
And so she's rolling her eyes that we have masks on. She keeps making comments. And, oh, my God, it was fucking crazy. So, we're trying.
Kids, you think a mask is going to protect you more than this dead zealot? I don't think so.
Now, Jesus Christ, if God couldn't protect him, you think you're going to get protected by a mask? So anyway, so what's your plan? You'll be in Palm Springs.
I am. My bags are packed. As soon as we finish this podcast, I am getting in the car and driving out to Palm Springs. We're doing everything you just described because my mom just finished chemo, so she is very compromised. And the thing is, it's like, have a great Christmas. Don't kill Mom. I mean, that's the little game we're playing this year.
Yeah.
So we are all testing, and we were very, very careful this week because regardless of its severity, this thing spreads like wildfire. So anyway, so that's the deal, is don't kill incredibly compromised mom.
Right. Well, especially when you've got grandkids coming in that have all been in college campuses and all that.
Yep. Oh, and Sophie already had it. She brought it home from Michigan.
Right.
So this is real. It's not imagined.
Did she get her smell and taste back yet?
I believe. I hope not, just because I'm cooking one of the meals out there.
Hey, now.
So I hope it comes after that. Yes.
By the way, are you watching Curb this season?
It's pretty over the top, but there was one I liked 2 ago, but yes is the answer.
Yeah, now there's some that are misses and there's some that are hits, but when Jeff goes ba-dum-bum and and Susie catches him cheating because the girl he's fucking does that.
Yeah.
So funny. Anyway.
Ba-dum-bump. What's that? I do ba-dum-bump. Yeah. And then the whole Curb conversation.
Yeah. Oh, and then also I get here and, I have extreme ADHD. And when I pack, I insist my wife not come in the room because I have to completely hyper focus or I forget shit. And so she
hold on. Wait. Pause. That seems like the opposite. You should have the opposite instinct. Kind of like, hey, I don't want you seeing me take my meds. It's like, well, wouldn't I help? Like, wouldn't I be like, you missed one or you took 3 of that one? Like, I think, don't you want someone overseeing it? It's almost like if you had a job, I'm incredibly ADD. Yes, but you are in charge of launching the rockets before the takeoff. Yeah, I know. Just leave me in a room alone. I'll get it done.
No, that's what I can do. If I'm alone and nothing disturbs me, I can hyper focus. If there's any distractions, then my mind goes off the task and I can't complete it. And so she's sitting on the bed chatting with me. I get to Florida. I got no T-shirts. None. Not one T-shirt.
Oh, poor Erin is getting blamed for this.
That's what she said. She's like, oh, don't fucking blame me for this. She's like, I was there to help
the doctor blaming the nurses. Wait, you sewed him up? His heart is still in my hand. It's you guys.
So now picture I'm in Florida and I have to buy T-shirts. I'm going to come back with I'm with Stupid and the Hawaiian Punch guy at a keg party. Fucking Bahama Joe, whatever. Tommy Bahama.
Yeah. I went to Florida and all I got was this lousy COVID test because I'm a pussy. Oh my God.
Oh, Jesus. So I have no T-shirts and it's Erin's birthday, so we gotta
Oh, that's
take
right.
her out.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah.
No T-shirts, no Wi-Fi, no gifts for your wife. Good luck down there.
I am short one. I gotta go pick one up. I can't say that too loud.
COVID.
So we want to thank great song this week from John Lancaster. Shout out to him. Nice fucking work, brother. And then our logo. Did you see the logo?
It's pretty funny that they took my stepbrother's book, the fishing book, which again, more and more people bought it. It's incredible. I should read it. I know I pushed it, and I know he's funny, and I know some of the stories in it. But so I have it. I bought a copy. I'm bringing it out to Palm Springs.
Yeah. Well, it was
but
done.
Great logo.
It was done by, I think it was John Solomon. Let me double check right now. Hold on.
All right. Meanwhile, Lucia Ribeiro.
I'm sorry, Michael Solomon. Yeah.
All right, Michael. Nice job. All right, corrections.
Corrections. Lucia Ribeiro, who is a comedian friend of ours who lives up in, I think she's in Vancouver, either Seattle or Vancouver. And she said, Liza Minnelli became the first female friar in April 1987. I did a Google search.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked about when the Friars first allowed women in, and Liza was the first person in the Friars Club to be told nice tits. Thank you.
I don't know if she'd be told that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I think they say it just reflexively.
Hey, like your mom, you married a fag. that might have been said. Her mom married 2 homosexuals, by the way.
Is that right? Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow. Yes. No
boy.
shit.
Uh-huh.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, I have a friend.
Their pickers, as they say, were a little off. It might have had something to do with the intense drug use, but I think it's more than that.
I think it's also, I had a friend who's a homosexual.
They were fans.
And his wife, they divorced, and she's a lesbian.
Wait, who's this?
A friend of mine who's a homosexual.
Oh, wow.
And
she's a lesbian.
And she's a lesbian.
Huh.
Right.
I wonder if they have an incredibly strong bond still. Like, both of them kind of hiding unconsciously or maybe
yes,
consciously.
They do have a strong bond. And it makes me think of...
I would not be surprised.
What was the documentary about was it called The Staircase?
Yeah. Uh-oh, wait.
I mean, that guy was clearly gay, and he was married to his wife, who he killed. I'm like, well, maybe that's not such a happy marriage. But they seem like they had, up until the slaying, they had a very happy marriage.
Till he trained an owl to swoop down and smash her skull, which is my theory on what happened.
Do you think that's what it was?
I think it was the owl.
Yeah.
I did not see the new ones, which are like 3 years old. I did not see the new episodes of The Staircase. Everyone apparently has considered this owl theory, and I guess it's been rejected.
Yeah.
But based on the first 12 and then my giant Google dive, I don't know how it's not an owl.
By the way, speaking of gay men, Tom O'Neill posted a video. Did you see it with his dick out?
All right, easy. I did.
Why? Am I giving too much away on the podcast?
I don't know. The podcast is a little dirty. Remember, this is you have a crucifix over your right shoulder. Maybe we tone it down.
All right. Also, a correction from Aldo Munoz, who says, "My memories of the '90s are a bit blurry, but wasn't Cake Fart Girl a hit song by Tori Amos? Chris Denman, pull that shit up. Happy holidays."
I heard a DJ this week, coincidentally, say his whole life he's been saying Tori Amos, and he just heard her refer to herself as Tori Amos.
Oh.
Anyway, let's move forward. Yeah, that's fun fact. That's a fun fact. Maybe not even fun.
Ika Rewitz says, at the end of Grapes of Wrath, the character Rose of Sharon does breastfeed a starving adult man, but he is not African American. The man she feeds is another migrant worker, one of the people who were kicked off their farms in the Midwest after the Dust Bowl and moved to California trying to get farm work. Most of the oppressed characters that Steinbeck is trying to draw attention to in the Grapes of Wrath are whites. Now, I think I confused this because I saw a production of Grapes of Wrath.
Exactly what I was going to say.
I saw a production of Grapes of Wrath on Broadway, and I believe the man was African American, right?
He 100% was black and African American, and I confused it too. But Ika Rewitz, if that's your real name, I don't think she made that name up for this email. Is right though. We should consider the text.
Yes.
The stage interpretation, though, that's exactly what I confused it. He was African American. And so I walked out.
Okay, so
I'm not going to watch a white woman get it on with a black man for $70.
Not in 2014.
Right. Yeah.
So Chris Denman just did a little research, and he says, as hilarious as a Tori Amos reference is, I either don't get it or can't find anything.
Both are true.
Yeah.
Both are true.
Yeah.
It was basically, that old joke, like, that's the name of my first album. It's one of those. But anyway, thank you for writing in, and it is kind of funny.
If you want funny, ladies and gentlemen, Bridgeport, Connecticut, on December 30th and January 1st, I will be at the Stress Factory doing stand-up comedy. Also,
it's going to be particularly stressful there with this with this contagion flying around.
There's no, the comedy clubs I work, they have a protective coating on them. and you can't catch anything inside of there.
In fairness, a lot of these comedy clubs are so desperate to be in business, and people so desperately want to see it, that their protocols are pretty good.
They are very good. I mean, some are so good you can't believe it. Like the Cleveland, there's a Cleveland club called Hilarities. They put up plexiglass between every fucking table in the club, and they wipe everything down, and then they have a ventilator system.
Wow.
They're all pretty safe. Anyway, thanks for taking a piss on my fucking date. New Brunswick, New Jersey, New Year's Eve, Mike. I don't know what your plans are. I will be at the Stress Factory in New Brunswick, New Jersey, New Year's Eve. Boston, Portland, Oregon, and Lexington, Kentucky. All dates coming up soon in January. Go to fitzdog.com for details. What are you doing for New Year's Eve?
I don't know. I go to Jackson Hole the next day to go try to do some skiing. We'll see how that goes. By the way, my dad is toying with the idea of coming to see you in Palm Beach.
Nice. Let me know when. I'll put him on the guest list. I think there'll be some room.
Sounds good. We'll text about that. Sounds good. All right, what do we got?
We also have a few mugs left. We ordered the smaller size that ships much cheaper as a response to you guys being upset that the shipping was so much on the large mug.
Gorgeous color. I saw them in person. You gave me a few.
Yeah. So pick them up. Go to sundaypapers.net or fitzdog.com and get yourself a mug. It'll be a little late for the holidays, but you can still get it. Also, we want you guys, if you're feeling stressed, this time of year brings up a lot of stress for people. You're around family, you're looking at a new year, whatever it is. And it's something that I think people are starting to talk more normally about and they're dealing with in constructive ways. And Noom is a way that you can do it. Noom Mood has helped me a lot. I have sleeping problems. My whole family does. Jesus Christ, it runs in my family. Thoughts run in our family. And so I've been using Noom. You use a coach to give you support, and you come up with a very specific process that works for you. Talk about your use of Noom, Mike.
Well, the key is it's so hard to find one now. I mean, that's the story that everyone is talking about. They can't find a therapist, and it's like the wait lists are so long. So a lot of people try to do like the self-help thing, or they get a book, and it's not enough. And I think a coach has been really effective. Like with me, I need that structure. I need like, all right, next time we check in, you'll have done this. I guess I need deadlines, which is part of structure. And so this coaching element of it is very effective for me.
You get a daily curriculum coupled with the one-on-one coach, and it's like 10 minutes a day. It's not a big deal. It's one size does not fit all. You figure out the best thing that's going to work for you depending on what you're up against, and you do it. So worry less and feel happier. Sign up for your trial at noom.com/papers. That's NOOM.com/papers. All right. So sign up for your trial now. Noom.com/papers. You're going to feel better. Also, if you want to feel better, putting a little cash in your pocket, my bookie has the best odds and prop bets. And you can start by doubling your initial deposit all the way up to $1,000 using promo code PAPERS. That's double your deposit, double your funds, and double the excitement.
Just don't bet on Tampa Bay. Just don't bet on Tampa Bay.
Oh, shit. Shutout last week. That hurt.
Woo! He broke an iPad. I love it.
So deposit of $1,000 is doubled using promo code PAPERS. Head to MyBookie today. Place your bets, fill your pockets, bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. All right, Mike, you got a paper there?
I have Bernie Taupin lyrics, and I don't mind messing them up. Front page.
Extra, read all about it. Extra.
Here we go. The U.S. population growth in the first year of COVID was the lowest in history.
Wow.
I was going to maybe tease this story and see what you thought. Like, did you think maybe more people hooked up? You know what I mean? With all the hibernation, especially married couples.
I would guess that just based on my experience with having kids around the house nonstop and a low-grade depression over everybody and puzzles that needed to get done, Netflix that needed to be watched, not to mention the amount of divorce that happened during COVID, I would guess the rates did not go up. I would say they probably dropped. Plus the fact that,
and that is true,
people talk about not wanting to bring a child into this world. You know, they've said that since the 1950s with the nuclear scares. How could you bring a child into this world?
I think you're right.
Yeah. So I'm right?
I think you're right.
Okay.
Numbers were far lower than anticipated. Even though the tally of births in the U.S. has dropped, get this, it has dropped every year since 2008, with the exception of 2014. Other states, though, bucked the trend, like Idaho and Florida. We'll get to both of those later. And Florida overtook New York as the nation's third most populous states in 2014. They featured.
So you heard about
1%
their new
growth.
license plate? Florida fucks.
That's a good one. So the figure of the 1% growth means the Sunshine State's population swelled by almost 580 new residents every day. And if you're good at math, you'll realize that is 290 new Florida men every day.
Wow. The possibilities for news are endless. And out of 290 Florida men, how many of those do you think are fertile ground for news stories? Like, how many of those guys are felons, meth heads, strip club addicts?
Probably more than usual, because I think I think a lot of them are going to be accidents.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, sure, they're bucking the trend a little bit, but they're not. Yes, actually, maybe they are. Florida is exceptional in every way, but I'm just thinking, I think everything is down for all the reasons you mentioned, and so these are probably accidents. And if you're a Florida accident man, that's going to be even worse, I think.
You know, that brings up an interesting point, because if they are going to make abortions illegal, this country is about to be filled with a lot of people that are not wanted and are not going to be raised very well. This is really so, just from a societal point of view.
Yeah.
This is really going to have ramifications, isn't it?
I think so. I don't know. I still think people are going to manage to get them. You're right. There'll obviously be a decrease, but I don't know. That's a sticky issue. We're moving on to other Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Let's lighten it up. A man strung Christmas lights from his home to his neighbor's home to support her, and the whole community followed.
Aww.
It started last November with a single string of Christmas lights on a Baltimore County street. Matt Riggs had hung up a string of white Christmas lights, and when he looked across the street, he realized his neighbor, he knew she was sort of hurting during the pandemic. She was depressed and struggling, and he thought, I'll literally brighten her world. So he stretched the string of lights from his home across the street to hers, and he also made a homemade tin of cookies, and he knocked on her door, and she opened it and shot him dead.
There it is.
With the stand your ground law right behind her.
I'm sitting here listening to this story going, wait a minute. Is someone going to get fucked here? Is somebody's mother or stepmother going to get laid? What's happening?
No, Greg, I am telling you that did not happen. That was just our twisted minds. She loved it.
Yeah.
And in the days that followed, Riggs' light-hanging gesture, neighbor after neighbor followed suit. And now this street, even though it's only the second year, has become famous because there is a canopy of lights going from each house to the house across the street.
Wow, that's so sweet.
And it's just nice, Greg. There's no one getting fucked or killed or raped.
Have you ever been out to Bensonhurst during the Christmas season in Brooklyn?
I do know that those Italians take it quite seriously.
They take it quite seriously. This is Bensonhurst is maybe the most racist pocket of America. This is the place where they chased a black guy. I guess they regularly chase black people out of the neighborhood, but a lot of horrible stories come out of there. But anyway, not at Christmas. They're real nice at Christmas, and they. Yeah. I went out there 2 years in a row with my friend Jerry Red Wilson. Used to rent a bus, and he had this big Christmas bus thing where we would get on and we go to Bensonhurst, and you would get off the bus and then you'd walk around for like an hour and look at all the, like, people with garages would fill their garages with toy train sets and like the little elves working on toys, and it was all lights, and every house was lit up, and it's just crazy. And then we would go on the bus, and then, you know, people are just boozing it up on the bus. Then we'd go to, like, he had all his favorite Irish bars in Brooklyn, Queens, and Manhattan, and we would end up at Jack Dempsey's. That was always the last stop.
Oh yeah, Lower East Side.
Yeah,
right?
And those were, and that's the first time I saw South Park, because he had a VHS tape of the original South Park Jesus episode, and this would have been in like 96 or so. And he's like, and he popped it on, and the bus had a VHS player, and we all watched the first South Park.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
It was their Christmas card. I think like Clooney or someone hired them to make a Christmas kind of card or whatever.
Yeah.
A video Christmas card. Anyway, but I remember seeing that viral video before there was viral videos, really.
Yeah.
It was great. Is Bensonhurst still that way, you think?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's...
there? I lost you
I think it's... No,
All right, we're going to skip the McDonald's story, but McDonald's... Huh?
Well, wait, I want to do the McDonald's story. We don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah.
McDonald's to ration French fries in Japan. So they're being forced to take the medium and large fries off the menu because potatoes are in short supply.
Wow. So this is what happened to the Irish. So are the Japanese now going to flee their country and become cops and firemen in the Bronx?
Here's the difference. The Japanese, it turns out, are a little more resourceful than the Irish. When you cut off the potatoes, that was it. What about rice? Nope. Fish?
Nope.
Not really.
Nope.
But you're an island. Yeah. We haven't really figured out the fish thing yet.
What do you need? A pole? You need a string? No, with the
Just
potato,
alcohol.
you just bend over. You just bend over and pick it up, and you're good.
Yeah. Well, guys, what about wheat? That's for the beer. Are you insane? But children are going to die. It's a non-starter. It's a non-starter, the wheat.
You're talking crazy talk over there. All right, let's get to this Beatles song.
All right, man. NME magazine listed all the Beatles songs in order of greatness.
Well, wait, for some context, who's NME?
New Music Entertainment. I don't know what it stands for.
Right.
NME, I think it's a British magazine. I'm probably getting all this wrong. But it's a very popular, I think, music magazine. Now, I have to scan all the way down. What's nice about NME's website is they don't make you click like 1 by 1 or 10 by 10. They're all in one document.
Oh, I like that.
But I do have to scan all the way down. Okay, so I want to... The number one song right out of the gate is going to tell you that, remind you of the premise, which is they're listed in order of greatness. Like what was... Like context is everything for each of these songs. You know what I mean?
Right.
So why don't you take a stab at getting as many of the top 10 as you can?
All right. Easy. Let It Be.
You there, caller?
Yeah. Let It Be.
Wait, hold on. You froze. So go ahead. Hit me up.
Let It Be.
Let It Be is... I'm still looking for it. Maybe Let It Be is number 22.
Yeah, forget it. I don't buy the survey. A Day in the Life.
Number 2.
Oh, there we go.
A Day in the Life. A Day in the Life. Listen to A Day in the Life. Give it a fresh listen and imagine writing it.
Yeah.
Like there's an orchestra. Hey, why don't we bring an orchestra in here? It's like, okay, wow, in the middle of this pop like record, like rock song, which they had done before. Yeah, but play it backwards. What? Okay, like it's and that wasn't the first time they did it. All right, go ahead.
Hey Jude.
Number 3. Do you know this? I never realized this. Hey Jude is not on an album.
Get out of here.
Isn't that weird?
Really?
Hey Jude is a single from 1968.
Wow. Yesterday.
First song recorded under the Apple label.
Yesterday?
Yesterday is, I know, yesterday is number 14.
Strawberry Fields.
But Strawberry Fields, yes, sir, is number 4.
Through the bedroom window. She came in through the bedroom window.
No, I think that's pretty, I don't know where that is. But, you know, all right. So here, want me to read them to you?
Yeah, I want to hear them.
Tomorrow Never Knows is number 1. It's the last song on Revolver, and it's interesting. So they go, it's possible to trace the origins of most modern music, bar rap, back to the Beatles catalog, but Tomorrow Never Knows was perhaps their most influential track of all. In trying to recreate the sound in Lennon's head of monks chanting in some cosmic mountain retreat to accompany lines cribbed from the Tibetan Book of the Dead, intended to emulate a transcendental acid high, the band experimented with loops, sampling, drone, and tape manipulation, creating not just the epitome of psychedelia and exposing pop audiences to anti-materialism Eastern ideas, but effectively inventing dance music. Turn off your mind, relax, and you can hear the Chemical Brothers before the Chemical Brothers were even born. So it's very interesting. So, and we're not going to go on too long about this, but Tomorrow Never Knows was the last track on Revolver, which teed up Sgt. Pepper's.
Right.
So that's the whole thing. So anyway, number 2, Day in the Life. Number 3, Hey Jude. Number 4, Strawberry Fields. Number 5, Something. Number 6, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. 2 Georges, 5 and 6.
Wow.
Blackbird, 7, because it was their most socially conscious, in the folk movement spirit. Paperback Writer.
Really?
Number 8. Yeah. And they have little explanations. All My Lovin'. I'm interested in that, but I guess that's their most poppy thing in their first in 1964. We Can Work It Out, which was a single. Again, I don't think on an album, number 10. Here Comes the Sun, 11. So, I mean, George has 3 of the top 11, which is interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's impossible to pick the top because, the Golden Slumber, that whole little trilogy of She Came In Through the Bedroom Window and Carry That Weight.
Oh, my God, are you kidding me?
Those 3, to me, the Beatles don't get any better than those 3 songs back to back, that little trilogy.
So I was very happy to see it, and it was the last thing we'll say, and we'll move on. But I was happy to see it. Number 15 was Golden Slumbers on Abbey Road, which is right in the middle of what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
That side 2, holy crap. People don't even think about side 2, 1 and all that shit anymore. All right. So that was that. Okay, here we go. Local news. You ready?
Local news.
Okay, today, Greg, is the 22nd, isn't it?
It is.
Yes. So I found this in the local news. It said 3 zodiac signs will have a rough day today. Okay. And I want to put this in there, but one of them is Aries. And so Leo, of course,
which
Leo
is you should
day.
say, which is us. We're both Aries.
Yeah, sorry. Which is us. We're both Aries. We're bitches, but we're cool. So Leo is one of the other ones, but of course that's their ego, so whatever. And then Scorpio, well, fucking Scorpios, every day is a tough day for a Scorpio, those pieces of shit. So now we go to Aries. Keep in mind, I don't believe in any of this. Aries. Here, I'll go read it. Keep this in mind when you have no Wi-Fi and you have to return your car later. While this day doesn't promise to actually... While this day doesn't promise to actually ruin you, you may find that there's something in your life discovered only today that is just wrong. This wrongness cannot last, and you will not tolerate it in your life. Once discovered, you will be annoyed, and this will bring on the blame game. Someone has to be responsible for this, Aaron, that I don't have my fucking t-shirts. So you'll blame someone close to you for some mistake you've made. Mom, how dare you get my COVID? Now it fucking ruins my life. And that will start the war of the day, which you will fight until it bores you, because Aries, I guess, are easily bored. It's one of those days with Moonshine Mars, never even heard the phrase, doing the major butt kicking that you'll wish you just stayed in bed during.
Wow. I have blamed my mom for a lot during this podcast, haven't I?
You've blamed a lot of people during this, I think. Except you did take credit for the rent-a-car. You did take credit for putting in the wrong dates.
Yes, I did. I would say that's something that
you
I
should
could
blame
work
someone
on.
for this connection because you sound like a robot falling asleep.
Oh. I would say if there's something I can work on for 2022, it will be not blaming other people for things. And I'm way better at it than I was when I was a kid.
Interesting.
When I was a kid, I blamed everybody all the time. And now I'm much, much better at owning stuff. But I still need to work on it.
And now you're supposed to say, and I'm this way because of my fucking father.
Well, that goes without saying.
So the whole banner is under blaming someone else.
It didn't come out of nowhere.
All right, entertainment. This is useful. People need things to watch over the break. You ready?
Yeah.
Have you seen Louis CK's New Hour?
Cannot wait.
Same. Can't wait. But here's the funny thing I read this detail. So his New Hour had a promo during SNL. And when the promo aired, it was the last commercial in the pod. And so it aired, and then SNL went right into Dick in a Box.
That's not true. No.
It's true.
No, it's not.
It's 100% true.
Are you serious?
It is. Because SNL was clobbered. You know, only 2 cast members showed up. They lost the musical act. Tina Fey had to come in. Tom Hanks was there. And they cobbled together a show. And so they had to play a lot of the Christmas greatest hits. So they played Dick in a Box Saturday night.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
And do you think that they were in on it? Do you think that they said, this would be really funny if we put in Dick in the Box after the ad?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so at all. Oh, are you kidding me? I think that song got put together so fast. And I think a lot of the times the show has no idea what commercials air in what pod. The only time, for those interested, the only time you ever hear that is I remember being in late night and we would do jokes about Korea, right, or something. And then we would get a call when we sent our script to standards and all that, standards and practices. And then all of a sudden ad sales would call us that joke cannot be in that pod. We're like, what are you talking about? That's when we do the news. Well, Kia is a sponsor in that. That's the only time we'd ever hear back what commercials are in what pods.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Well, that's ballsy. So, just so people understand the business model, Louie pays for the special himself out of his own pocket, shoots it, directs it, edits it, and then he only releases it on his website, which I just got the email from him the other day, like the mass email that all his fans get, saying that you can buy it for $10, or for $15 you can get all of his specials together or something. But anyway,
and he'll show you his dick.
And he'll show you his dick. And so basically, he's going to make enough money on this special that he can afford. What do you think a 30-second ad costs? I think it was a 1-minute ad. It said.
Was it? I don't know.
How long how much do you think that would cost?
On Saturday Night Live's Christmas show, maybe he bought it last minute. Maybe some people pulled because all of a sudden, there was the music company that was going to buy time because their performer was on there. They probably pulled their ad. So maybe he got a deal, but generally, to answer your question, an SNL ad is expensive, of course.
What's expensive? $500,000?
I don't think that much, but I don't. I should
So
just say
he probably
don't know.
spent between $50,000 and $100,000 on the ad.
That's probably a good guess.
Wow.
Maybe a little more.
Wow. Yeah. Well, he's smart because, I mean, he hosted the show a number of times. He was apparently his episodes would be like the highest rated episode of the year when he did it. So that's his. Denman just wrote in
So
100
Denman
to
just
300,000.
Yeah.
For an SNL ad.
Typical SNL ad rate, but that's probably for 30 seconds. You said this was a minute?
Oh, I don't know that. I'm assuming it was a minute because that's how much you would need to do a stand-up.
I doubt it. No, he gets a little joke in there and it just announces it or something, I'm sure. Okay, I saw Being the Ricardos. Holy shit, man. You, bless you. God bless you. The crucifix just turned upside down. You really have to be a fan of Aaron Sorkin to like Being the Ricardos. And
really?
He chose, and I've heard him. I watched his masterclass on that series, and I know how he approaches biographies. He doesn't take a biography on or even a story like The Social Network unless he finds a real issue. And the issue for the Facebook movie was the lawsuit and things that he had read that were said in the lawsuit. So that's how he approached this. And he chose kind of like this communist thing, which, he's very political. So, but no one remembers that about Lucy at all. You know what I mean? Anyway, and everyone knows everything. He directed it also. So there was no director there to say, oh, let's ease it on everybody knows everything and just doesn't even hesitate with a single word as they're walking and talking and the repartee is fucking lightning fast dueling, verbiage. It's awful.
Yeah.
So anyway.
But are you not an Aaron Sorkin fan?
You could say that.
Yeah. Well, then that's not a fair review because I love him. I love his stuff.
Then
so
you might like
it.
Being the Ricardos. The French Dispatch had a little technical issue. While I was watching the French Dispatch, my TV out of nowhere just exploded because of the adorableness overload. It was so adorable.
Yeah.
It just shook off my wall and smashed. So I'm halfway through the French Dispatch.
Wait a minute,
I don't know if I could do.
This is coming from the guy who cut and pasted the story about a neighbor running some Christmas lights to his next door neighbor because she's an old lady. This is the same human being?
That was really a setup for that. She shot him dead on the porch. But yeah, you're right. But no, the French Dispatch, it's just adorable. That's my review.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Matrix Resurrections. I'm a huge fan of The Matrix. And listen to this from the guy that you're criticizing of being bah humbug. More than anything, it never gets talked about. It's an incredible love story. So anyway, there have been two others that I have very little memory of. But now this is the fourth, I believe, The Matrix Resurrections. And it's in theaters, but that shit has flown the coop. I'm not going there. So luckily it's on HBO Max as well, beginning today, the 22nd. So it's been out for 3 days or 4 days now.
In the theaters, or can you get it online?
HBO Max, fella.
Oh, all right. That sounds like something you want to see in the theater, though.
3 a.m., 12 a.m. Pacific, maybe. I guess that means it's already out last night. Anyway, when people are listening to this, it is out.
All right. Let's skip Jay Johnson. Let's hit Florida, man, because I added a couple extras because I'm in Florida and there's so much good local news.
Here we go. Florida, man. Take it away, Greg.
All right. A Florida man denied ownership of baggies containing cocaine and methamphetamine that cops found, quote, wrapped around his penis during a search early Saturday morning. Investigators say Patrick Florence, 34, was a passenger in a vehicle stopped at 4 a.m. for traveling without headlights.
I don't know how to tie a double knot.
So he was traveling without headlights or taillights on a Clearwater roadway. So the driver, Darius Owens, was subsequently arrested on DUI and marijuana possession charges. Some people are just living a life that I can't approach. I literally, if I rent a mountain bike when I'm in Golden, Colorado, and I go on a 10-mile mountain bike, I talk about it for weeks like I'm really living my full life. This guy has meth wrapped around his dick while his stoned friend is speeding in a headlight-free car through the Everglades. I am not living a full life.
And more than that. I read ahead. I haven't read this.
A search of the vehicle turned up a handgun under Florence's seat, leading to his arrest on a pair of felony weapons charges. He denied ownership.
Who's more fun than these guys? These are the funnest guys around.
Hey, what's Danny? Hey, what's Danny and Johnny up to tonight? I don't know. He said something about meth and his dick and a handgun. You in? I don't know. We did that last week.
These guys. Well, Danny, those guys are looking to have a little. They're looking for fun tonight. Oh, how are they doing that? Oh, you'll see.
So he denied ownership of the gun, and the cops who noted that the ex-con's rap sheet includes, quote, dozens of felony convictions, which barred him from possessing firearms and ammunition. So they discovered 2 plastic baggies wrapped around his penis.
By the way.
Questioned
dozens.
about
that. By the way, he's been caught dozens of times.
Yeah.
That's dozens of convictions.
Yeah, in Florida, which is a 1 in 1,000 conviction rate on committed felonies. The question about the narcotics, Florence stated the package wrapped around his penis was not his. I'm holding it for a friend.
He should have said it was his buddy. He's like, all right, listen, can I be in a separate room? Have you checked under his seat? There's a handgun. I know you guys have been through this with him dozens of times. He tied this around my junk.
Now, this is going to sound gay, but it's really more about the drug use than the homosexuality. All right, second Florida man story. This is actually from last week, but we forgot to do it. A Florida man was kicked off a United flight for using a thong as a mask to protect the airlines to protest the airline's mask mandate. The passenger believed he was in compliance as the thong covered both his nose and mouth, which, by the way, it has on me a couple times too. In a flight between Fort Lauderdale and Washington, D.C. Airline staff disagreed and removed him from the flight. Jenny, who compared himself to civil rights icon Rosa Parks, said he had previously worn a thong as a mask on several previous flights with varied responses.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little selfish because also Susan, the flight attendant, was fired because now she has no underwear.
So if he's comparing himself to Rosa Parks, was he sitting in the front row of the plane? Because this doesn't sound like first class behavior.
Oh man,
this sounds like
the
back
Rosa
row
Parks
behavior.
comparison is a little bizarre.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That if you're looking for,
is he saying Rosa Parks wore thongs?
I think. Oh, I was going to make a joke, and I literally just bit my tongue because there are no. You can do Helen Keller jokes. You can do Anne Frank jokes. I don't believe you can do Rosa Parks jokes.
Oh, come on. Rosa Parks wasn't even the first to do that. She also, I believe, moved her seat. So, come on. Dude, she sucks.
Merry Christmas.
Dude, Rosa Parks sucks, dude. Fucking Bernie Taupin sucks. God damn it, everybody sucks.
All right,
no, Rosa Parks is obviously great.
Why don't you do the third Florida man story?
Florida teens held after crash. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Florida teens are held after a crash leaves 2 alligators hanging from the truck window. So the officers show up on a scene, and there's a tipped-over SUV, and there are 2 alligators, an 8-foot and a 6-foot, hanging from the rear window of the SUV. And they said they don't know why the SUV's on its side. I have a guess. I think there might have been some commotion in the vehicle that caused it to flip on its side. So the two youths were fishing, and they were unhappy about the reptiles chasing their fishing lines. So they tried to beat these alligators up, and then they took them and put them in their SUV, and it didn't turn out well for any of them. So that was that story.
Yeah. I'm not living a full life. The other day I snuck into a movie with a friend, and I was like so giddy from it. I was inside going, we fucking snuck into the movie. They've got live alligators in their pickup truck. What am I not doing?
Thank God that truck didn't hit Danny and his truck with all the cocaine wrapped around his penis and the guns under his seat. That can happen in Florida.
I know a gun could have gone off and shot one of those poor alligators.
Absolutely.
Should we go to...
Well, what's distracting is one of them, all of a sudden they see a guy with a thong on his face. Do you want to skip Idaho?
Yeah, let's go to sports.
Here we go, sports.
So in the ongoing drama of the Tampa Bay bet, Mike was down last week for the first time, back in the black after Tampa Bay gets shut out, skunked. I don't think Tom Brady's been skunked in years.
I think I read 2006.
2006, he lost 7-0 to the New Orleans Saints, who are a good team, not a great team.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the COVID injury list was like on that game, though. But anyway.
Yeah, they played Sunday, so I don't know. And no one knows with Tampa Bay because they cheat regarding that. Yeah, that.
I don't know.
I don't think it's I don't think it's New England who are the cheaters. I think it's Tom Brady.
All right. Let's go to science.
Where are we going?
Let's do science.
Blinded me. Science. A perfectly kept dinosaur embryo from 66 million years ago was found. Scientists have announced the discovery of an exquisitely preserved dinosaur embryo. It would have grown to 2 to 3 meters, which is 6.5 to 9.8 feet long, if it had lived to be an adult, and would have likely fed on plants. Researchers believe the creature. So what happens to me when I read these stories is I get incredibly impressed with the story that they put together. Like all these details. Like, I mean, this embryo, you think it's going to be like this, like it looks fresh, like it's almost still wet. It's basically a fossil. It's this fossilized thing that was buried probably because of a mudslide, they said, that protected it from prey, other animals eating it. So anyway, but then the closer you read, you're like, you know what? They don't have the whole story together. So like the researchers believe the creature is between 72 and 66 million years old. Think about 1 million years. And now this is 6 of those. That's the range that they pin this in. So it's not, I mean, still, it's pretty, but get this.
It's a little bit like a little kid going, and the little girl is 100,000 million feet tall. 1 million.
Right. Yeah. And then you're like, all right, still, that they narrowed it to that range is impressive. These scientists had their shit so together. Then I read the line. The specimen was one of several egg fossils that were forgotten in storage for decades.
Well,
so
to put that in context, decades compared to 6 million years is not a lot of time.
That's a good point. But it was in storage. It was literally like like they had it in the museum for decades.
Right.
This giant breakthrough that's our lead story in science.
Jesus, it is pretty incredible, though. I mean, if I'd had time and I was going to do this, I was going to put together a timeline because I just recently re-listened to the audiobook of Bill Bryson, A Brief History of Nearly Everything.
Oh yeah, I read his. What was it, A Walk in the Woods or something?
Yeah,
he's a good writer.
But it takes you through the history of time basically, and I just realized how little I really get the Ice Age, when dinosaurs were, when man was.
Oh,
who
until
was
I was
extinct
30,
when.
I thought dinosaurs and man were at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it says here. So apparently dinosaurs were around 66 million years ago. How long has Homo sapien existed for? How many, is it millions of years or hundreds of thousands of years or tens of thousands of years?
I think it's 2 years since they could identify as Homo sapien and you couldn't question it.
How many?
2 years. The best. Your connection is so bad that I don't know if you're hearing me in real time, but you just went, how many? My joke was, it's been 2 years since you could identify as Homo sapien and no one could question it.
Ah, that's good. That was a good one, and I ruined it. That could have been our clip for the week.
It was funny. It was funny.
Well, Chris Denman just wrote in 6,000 according to that guy on the wall behind Greg.
But how confusing is our time going to be? So let's say this disease wipes us out, right? Or it gets so hot we get wiped out. And then a few million years later, life somehow comes back or whatever. They're going to be like, all right, these people in the 2000s, they, first of all, I don't know if they'll call it the 2000s, but they'll be like, they had cell phones and dinosaur embryos. Like how are they going to decipher what we're studying versus what we have?
And they all seem to have big tits and big dits and big asses, because that's all that'll be left. Everything will decompose except for all the Botox.
Yeah.
All right.
Bags just in every coffin.
All right, we got to move right along to...
Where are we going?
Let's do some letters to the editor.
Here it is.
Okay.
Oh, Christmas is in the air. Let's do it.
Oh, my God. This woman is caught up in the holiday spirit. Joanne, I seem to really have a crush on these guys. Thank you, Joanne.
That's a nice time of the year to hear that. That's wonderful.
And happy Hanukkah back at you. And then this was Daniel Preston wrote in, hey, Greg, probably the reason Mike couldn't find the video of the Florida teacher having sex with her underage students is because it would be child porn. If he had watched it, he would be arrested for viewing it. If anyone is under 18, don't try to find it.
Charles is right, and we talked about that as soon as we stopped recording. We're like, yeah, you don't want that on your computer, and you don't want to see it. I do, but you don't want to see it.
There's nothing I want to see more than a 20-year-old teacher and her 16. There's nothing. If there's a category, you get rid of all my categories on YouPorn except for that one.
And that is a double standard. Literally, very truthfully, I would never, ever, ever want to see, it's weird to even say this. I would never want to see a 20-year-old male teacher with a 16-year-old female student. I even feel like a creep having to say that. Flip it, and I'm looking for it.
I'm in. By the way, that was from Chris. That was from Charles McLennan. I mixed up. The next email is from Daniel Preston, who says, I'm writing in response to the question about how old you have to be a substitute teacher. I am a 20-year-old. I graduated from trade school at 19 and work part-time as a coach at a high school. Because I obtained my coaching license, that allows me to become a building sub for the high school I work at. So he coaches. So being a jock makes you qualified to be a substitute teacher? Is that just because they know you can break up fights?
How about this, Daniel? Who gives a shit about male 20-year-old substitute teachers?
Right.
No one.
Right. That's not a category in my
The students don't. We don't. We don't care. I'm not going to try to.
All right. Let's get to the funnies. It's the holidays. Let's get to the funnies.
Oh, geez, I did not grab a family circus. So
boy.
You go ahead. I'm going to grab
one. I'm going to read this
We're going
first
to read
one.
it blind.
a viewer sent us this one, and I just loved it. I don't know who the cartoonist is. It is a beautiful little living room scene. There's a Christmas tree up. There's presents. Santa Claus has his bag, and he's unloading presents. And there's a little boy in his pajamas, and he's on the stairs, and he looks at Santa, and Santa looks at him, and Santa says, "I'm sorry you saw me, Timmy. Now I'll have to kill you."
And I think it's kind of old, so that joke wasn't as old then, you know? I think it was
really?
more impressive.
Is it old?
No, I do. I think, you know, because that's the whole, if I tell you, I have to kill you, you know?
Yeah.
But I think this one is before that was very hack, you know?
So funny. Haggard the Horrible. Haggard the Horrible. He's pulling off in a boat. It's a Viking ship, and there's a bunch of Vikings, and they're all waving at the dock. And on the dock are a bunch of the wives, and they're waving handkerchiefs. And in the air, you hear, "Bye, bon voyage, safe journey." And then there's somebody says, "Good riddance." And Haggard just looks back and he goes, "I'll just say it was Helga." And it's like, yeah, she may be a little bit miffed that you're going to go off and rape for a couple years. God knows what kind of medieval venereal diseases Helga is catching 2 weeks after Haggard gets back into port again. Can you imagine the burning, the scabies, the scabs, the pus? I mean, that wasn't chlamydia back then. That was some hardcore medieval shit.
And just knowing that how those diseases were so hard fight, like they were earned the hard way.
Yeah, and there was no penicillin shot.
Also that. Hold on 1 second. Here's Olivia. Wait, hold on, Greg. Olivia, I'm in the middle of the podcast. What's going on?
I forgot my medication. Can you please pick it up at Mom's? I know it's out of the way, but
All right, I'll text you in a couple minutes. Bye. All righty.
All right, so Andy Cap, real quick. Andy is walking home with Flo, and he says, "Never mind about wait until we get home. Let's have it out right here and right now." And she says, "Hold me shopping purse." And he holds her shopping bag, and then she punches him in the face, and he falls over backwards. And he says, they have no trouble acting like men, but when it comes to acting like a gentleman. So more domestic abuse for the holidays from Andy Cap this week.
Perfect. All right, here goes a blind read of Family Circus. It's the family sitting around. It looks like they're opening Christmas cards. They're on the couch, and then the daughter is looking up at them and pointing, and she's saying, quote, "Every time you open a Christmas card, are you supposed to say, 'Did we send them one?'" Oh, okay. You know what? Merry Christmas. We're not even going to comment on it. How about that? Let's just move forward.
Okay. Here's Blondie, and Dagwood, like a piece of fucking zero, is sitting in his chair. Blondie is knitting. If she's not cooking or cleaning or shopping, she's fucking knitting, and he does nothing. And she goes, "Dagwood, I'm going to need more money this week." And he goes, money. That's all I hear around here." Huh? What? He says, "Don't you know there's a limit to what a wife should spend?" What? So she says, "Yes, dear, I know there's a limit, but I always run out of money before I reach it." And he falls off the chair and lands on the dog, screaming.
Huh.
The only reason she doesn't have enough money is because you fucking sleep at work. Because you have never tried to achieve beyond the lowest fucking modicum of what needs to. You have been gifted this yellow-haired beauty. I believe she has green eyes. She's a 34 double D, and you barely fucking punch the clock. And now you're going to complain that she needs more money?
All righty.
And what's she buying? Sandwich meat.
She's probably buying presents for him.
Yes. All right, listen, we hate to cut it short, but it is the holidays. My whole family's in the next room listening to me scream about Viking herpes. and that's got to be touching for them.
I have an idea. This is a great idea for Christmas for you. Buy your mom Wi-Fi.
That's a great. I'm gonna do that. Am I buying it for her? Does she need it?
You will have more Zooms with her, so I don't know if it's a win-win, but I think she'd love it.
No, having been in the apartment for 12 hours, I already have a list. She needs a teapot that has a top on it because I tried to pour my wife's tea this morning and literally almost dropped it on my feet because it scalded. There's no top on the fucking teapot. There's a whatever. I have a list of shit that's broken in the house that I'm on my way out to get right now.
Couple of tarps to cover the artwork. I put that on the list as well.
Buy a little bit of pink paint and put a smile on Jesus' face.
Yeah.
We all know where he's headed.
Should we air this on Saturday, Christmas morning?
No, it's the Sunday papers.
I could come out a little early on the holiday. Anyway, just a thought.
All right, we'll discuss it.
If you're listening to this on a Saturday, it's because of me. If you're listening to this on a Sunday, it's because of Greg.
And if you're not listening to this at all, it's because last week we announced we weren't doing a show this week.
You still there? Hello.
Oh. Can you hear me now?
Oh, my God. Did we just lose you? Really?
Am I gone? Oh, wait, I'm back. Am I back? Hello?
Now I hear you. You're back.
All right, good.
You.
And
I
if
hear
you're
you now.
And if you're not listening to this podcast at all, it's because we told you there was no podcast last week. All right.
It comes in their feed.
Yeah.
But what about next week?
Next week, we're going to have the week off for reels. And so for New Year's Eve, you're going to have to find another, or New Year's Day, you're going to have another way to nurse your hangover than listening to Sunday papers because we're going to be taking the week off. Our first week off in the history of the show.
You know, I wonder if we can put in the feed a repeat from like last New Year's.
I guess. But I think they're all available. I think they can just go back and listen to that on their own.
Of course they can, but I'm just saying, you know.
Right.
All right. All right, man. Well, listen, you have your hands full down there. I hope everybody is healthy and no one gets it and that your mom gets Wi-Fi. And send my best to her for sure. She had quite a year. You have a lot to be thankful for.
Yes, I feel very, very happy to be around her. I'm enjoying it, and my love to your family, and my best to your mom, and to Midcoast Media. We thank you guys so much for all your hard work this year. I know we mentioned it last week, but you show up week in and week out and do an outstanding job, and we thank you. And the listeners, thank you guys, and we'll see you in 2022.
We should send Midcoast some mugs. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, not money. They'd rather mugs because money. Anyone can give them money.
No. Once you have a mug, you can put money in the mug.
That's a good point.
And and they can do that all year.
And if they're hung up on money, well, they could give us money for the mug, and then they'll know it's really worth money. You know, like the mug will mean more to them.
Right. They'll truly understand the equity of the mug. Yes.
All right. I think that's a good idea. And I'll text you about my dad coming to your show to get COVID.
Fantastic. All right. We'll see you later.
Take it easy.
Take it easy.